What's good, everybody? You're now tuned in to the very first episode of the Creative Vibe Podcast. I'm your host, Demetrius Behind the Lens. And today's guest is music producer from the Boogie Down Bronx, now residing in Tampa Bay, Florida, Stylez. Thanks for coming on the show today, man. I'm happy to have you for the very first episode of the Creative Vibe Podcast, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Man, yo, D, thank you so much, man. This is a real honor and a pleasure, man. Thank you for making me a part of it. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, well, it was only right. I mean, listen, you were one of the very first mentors that I had in my life. I mean, and so I think it's only right that it comes full circle and we start off the first episode of this journey that I'm going to take with one of the first people that, decided to take time out and help me, get into the creative world itself. So it's only right.
Oh, man, yo, D, let me tell you something, man. I got to thank you for showing enthusiasm because that's like a big key. Because even though I want to show some stuff, you showed the enthusiasm and interest that gave me the motivation to want to, show you stuff and mentor you, at that time, man. So thank you as well.
How long have you been doing your thing, behind the pads?
I started in '87, but before that, what triggered that was DJing. My stepbrother came in one day with some DJ equipment and just started doing some crazy stuff in front of me. And it just so happens that just a few blocks away in Kingsbridge, I had Kid Capri that lived close by and everything. And as he lived close by, I used to see this brother just do a lot of parties and a lot of live events when it came to DJing and everything. And so as I was teaching myself how to DJ, as I was watching my stepbrother, I think I took the initiative, man. And as crazy as it may sound, one of my biggest flaws was being impatient. Impatient, man. So I always got lectured about that. But the one time I think that it benefited me was I didn't want to wait on my mom's or anybody to help me buy my first DJ equipment. So then I went and looked. I had a guy in my building that had a hole in the wall record shop that he gave me my first job to get my first turntables. And at the same time, as I was learning how to DJ, cutting and scratching, I used to watch Kid Capri a lot. And like I said, this guy lived a few blocks away from me. And then after that, after all said and done, in '87, one of my last events, I was doing some live cutting and scratching live, and I had some guy come up to me and say, "Yo, Shorty, do you mind doing those type of scratches you just did for my tracks or my demos?" was the name at the time. And I said, "Hell yeah, man." He says, "I'll give you the address to the studio, man. I'll give you the date and you can come, man. You can bring somebody with you." And I said, "Oh, shoot, hell yeah. I've never been to no real studio before." So all said and done, when we got there, and the studio was so big that in every private room was a producer making a beat, from either original beat to doing sample beats. I mean, you name it. It was like maybe 4, 5, 6 rooms, private rooms, and I was watching producers as he was giving me a tour around the studio. And I thought that was fascinating. I said, "Yo, this is what I want to do. This is it right here. I want to make some music right here." And that began in '87. And '87 just began my training. I just went and bought more equipment. I got my first official job at the Bronx Zoo and then bought more equipment. And after that, that was all said and done, man. Then I started making beats, from original to messing around with samples, And then a year later, a homeboy of mine from the Bronx Zoo that I work with introduced me to Rado, which was a partner of mine that I've been doing music with since we were teenagers, man. So, big shout out to my brother over there as well.
So in your career, you've been in it since '87 and you've seen the phases. I mean, for you obviously must have seen it from the '80s, the '90s, the early 2000s, and to now. In that time, that's a long time to be producing. have you ever just wanted to just give up on this process here, like this journey? Because I know for me, investing in equipment is long, takes a lot of money. You come out of pocket more than you get in your pocket. And obviously you got kids to feed, and now I'm a family man of four. You know what I mean? So
Ooh,
in all of
nice.
those, in all of those decades, did you ever just feel like calling it quits? Did you ever take a quit?
I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I never did. And I'm gonna tell you one reason why. And
Amazing.
it may sound crazy because I think me and Rado thought the same way together, and I think that's why we were so compatible. We wasn't doing this for the money at first. We wasn't doing this for the money because we just enjoyed watching everybody wild out on our music. People kind of get amped up on our music, and I think that was like the biggest key to us just doing it, because I think if we did have only focus on doing it for, I mean, don't get me wrong, me and Rado did appointments at that time, and mind you, there was no such thing as social media at all. So you had to
Fact.
make appointments with Def Jam, make appointments with Universal, make appointments with whatever record company was out there, and go in person and present your stuff. And then at the same time, if you, me and Rado met a lot of celebrities in the industry and spoke to them, sat down with them, like Church from Naughty by Nature. And, we met Alchemist, we met Mobb Deep, we met, uh, I mean,
So
I could
many
keep
greats,
going,
right? Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it was a great pleasure, man, to meet a lot of these brothers, man, even the underground stars too, like Loaded Lux and them. And, and then as time went on, it was just a passion of us just putting our music out there. We just wanted to capture the hearts of millions of people out there in every fashion with our music. And we just didn't see the money. And I don't know if that was like the backfire a little bit of why, we didn't shoot for placements off the back. Like, only, in other words, just focus on placements. That's it, you know? And
So do you think that was maybe more it was more of the love and just doing it and not thinking, all right, like we got to get placement. We got to get certain other logistics in place in order for us to fully launch to that next step. Is that kind of what
Yeah,
you're trying to
because the
say?
funny thing was is that we didn't have, it's funny because what's they at that time, I mean, we were kind of knuckleheads too at the same time too, but we didn't have.
You could get away with a lot more back then. There was no cameras, no iPhones, no Siri, no mic pickup, nothing. I mean, you go to the subway and bust a light bulb and rob a dude for his Jordans and leave, and it'd be like the ninjas in the night. You know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, you can't get a block without someone getting a face scan, a photo, a video, put it on World Star. You can't do nothing now. So I already
and
know.
it's and it's crazy because we didn't even have a publishing card, you know what I'm saying? And it took one brother. I don't know how it got sparked, but I just know it took one brother to say, "Yo, don't you guys want to get paid while you sleeping? Don't you guys want to just, because you guys got fire, you guys got beats, you guys got, yo, you should have this publishing card. So when somebody does pick you up, or when it's a commercial, soundtrack, or an artist,
They know
you
who it
guys will
is.
be
Yep.
making money, man. And you guys could be making money as you sleep. And then you wake up in the morning, bam, and that sparked and like, what? And don't ask me why. If we knew that, we just was just too ignorant to pay mind to it. I don't know what it was. And like on my other end, I think then we finally got it. We finally got the publishing card. We got our ASCAP card and everything, man. But it's just crazy. But yet, it was just the passion of making music and the way everybody was feeling our music. We didn't focus on the money like that. If it came, it came. If it didn't, oh well, let's just keep pushing fire, keep pushing heat. And that's why I think it kept doing it over and over, year after year. No matter if it was a letdown. And there was so many times we were close, like my boy Chris Romero. He was my artist, but he was also my homeboy as well. And he knew Big Pun's brother-in-law, and Big Pun's brother was named Eddie. And he introduced me to the cat, Eddie, and he was a real cool dude, really humble dude in person and everything. and I think Chris was trying to get like a little setup with Pun, and either hopefully meet us or to listen to our beats. And and at that time too, we went to a second visit, and we met Pun's wife Liza at that time, and this was back in '99, if I'm correct, '98, '99. I think it was '99.
Mm.
And a second visit, we came with our, I came with my CD, gave it to him. I said, "Yo, this probably got like everything that I think Pun would probably go bananas for. At least I'm hoping so. Let me know what he thinks." And then after a while later on, we got some good feedback on it and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And he said, "Yo, he'll tell me straight up if he wasn't digging it, man, but he was digging a few of your stuff, man. So he is gonna want to set up a date, man, where we could, pick a track or two or three." And he said he would get it started, man. Then you could finally get the opportunity to meet him in person. I was like, "Thank you, thank you." But then, sure enough, of course, a few months later, that's when he passed away. And and I thought that was gonna be like
Big break,
my,
basically.
my big break right there.
Yeah.
And then we were invited. The brother-in-law invited us to the funeral, and sure enough, when there was a line outside, he brought us through the back of the funeral home to put us in front of everybody, and that was interesting because that's when I seen Fat Joe on the staircase crying. So I didn't even really get a chance to meet him in person. And I saw, his Pun's wife Liza and Chris Rivers when he was 6 years old at that time.
Oh
And
yeah, little Chris.
yeah, man. So it was interesting, man. And but at the same time too, like I said, just to make a long story short, man, the passion of the music is what made us just continue this music, man. You know, and
Was there
that's
any?
pretty
Was
much.
there any? Was there any artists throughout that time? Because obviously, from '87 till now, there's been new producers and new people. Was there anyone that came across at that time that reignited more inspiration? Maybe you heard a certain producer and was like, "Oh man, that sound is dope," and then maybe it influenced some of your later. Because I'm sure the beats that you made in '87, the things that you did in the early '90s or mid '90s, didn't sound like the early 2000s stuff. So, was there any artist that you could say that came along the time, throughout the time that you've been doing your thing, that sort of, really sparked more inspiration to what you did, to your workflow?
Yeah, hell yeah. I think as when me and Rado first started, it was about sampling. But then when I heard these other producers in the '90s, such as Dr. Dre was one of my biggest inspirations. Scott Storch was another one. And these
Mm-hmm.
are guys pertaining to doing original music, and besides RZA and Premier and guys like that who were also my inspirations, but they were more like on the sampling side,
Yeah,
and
I love Premiere. I loved Premiere for the samples, bro. Like, I just like sampling, and that's what I loved about y'all work, man. The way you used to hit the pads and the samples, and how it was just a feeling I used to get, like, oh, bang, ding, dong. Like, you used to chop up the I'm like, oh my god, man, this is crazy. Like, oh man, that's oh yeah. So
I didn't ever realize that chopping was even out way before that time, by Marley Marl. Marley Marl, legendary Marley Marl, was one of
yeah,
those
man.
guys. I think he did it mostly with old school beats. He took the kick from the old school beat and the snare from the old school beat,
The
and
SP
he just
100, I think, right, or something like that. They use a lot
yeah,
of
yeah, exactly.
James Brown samples. Yeah. So what is it
Yes.
that you use now? What's your setup looking like? What is your main,
I
you
mean,
know?
since the '90s, I've been using the Akai MPC, and till today, I still use the Akai MPC. I've been an MPC head since the mid '90s, and um, early '90s, I used to jump on people's stuff, which inspired me to want to get the MPC. Then finally, I think in 1993 or '94 is when I got my first MPC, like my own, and it was the MPC 2000, then the MPC 2000 XL, and then it just kind of grew from there. Then using it for such a long time, which that's when you met me using the 2000 XL, if I'm correct. Um, And that's pretty much when all the new technology came out with the MPC Renaissance. When you get the
Mm-hmm.
software and you can watch it off the monitor and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, okay, this is interesting. What the hell is this, man? And when I understood the concept of it, I was like, okay, I can mess with this. And but I've been at Akai, man, been with Akai with the MPCs, man, for such a long time, since the mid '90s. And I can't trade it for the world, man. Maybe do wonders, man.
Well, there's nothing like that boom bap sound anyway, and that sort of it gives you a certain nostalgic sound that you just can't get, using any other software. You know what I mean, or using any other program. So that's pretty cool. How about keyboards? Do you play your own music? Do you is sampling still something you do a lot of? Because now obviously with sampling, everything has to get clearance. How does that work? Like for you, do you still sample, or are you trying to dip into more instruments on your own, or are you integrating more softwares with the hardware?
I've been mixing it up, believe it or not. I've been trying to show some more versatility because I've done a lot of original music and stuff that I actually been amazed that I couldn't say, wow, I actually did that. So I'm not a professional piano player, but I can play the keys to the melody I'm looking for. So it gives me such an advantage to sit there and play the keyboard to what I'm looking for. And then I guess I was just a natural to understanding how notes can connect with other notes because I really never had nobody teach me how to understand the melodies and how what makes sense, what note makes sense to go with the next note, of a melody. It just came natural, man. I can't explain it, man. It was a dope feeling that okay, this kind of takes care of this. So I kept teaching myself how to play the piano, which is pretty much how Scott Storch said about himself. He taught himself how to play the piano. Now the dude is like a master. So I kind of sit there and kind of taught myself a little bit and everything. And and it's more easier for me to create original music because the simplicity of making original music is so simple now. Like now, guys can just take one or two sounds, three sounds, and then put a dope beat behind it, and that's it. You call it a day. Just put that other sound inside the hook and let the rest ride out. And then as long as you do some bridges and some breakdowns or some drops, you got yourself a dope track. So the simplicity, like for me, I get teased on by my partner Rado, where he kind of says, "Man, don't over orchestrate your stuff, man. Just keep it simple and this and that." I was like, "No, I hear you, man, but I like to see where all kinds of sounds go together, and then it's easy for me to mute it. I can mute the sounds that people don't want, and then give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? But I like to see where I can go because I'm trying to test my ability. So, um, uh, I'm kind of working with both. I'm chopping up a lot of samples, quarter notes to half notes. I'm chopping up, and a lot of the videos would show me doing it live on the video, and and I think it's pretty cool, man. The way they come out, man. Um, I don't know how brothers be doing the clearance of the samples. You know what I'm saying? I would
Mm-hmm.
like to get more ideas on how to get sample clearance, at least to the obvious samples, because there's some samples that I chop up that I don't think anybody would know where it came from. But unfortunately, there are some that I like it just the way it is, and people are gonna know what it is, and I want to be able to get clearance on it and stuff like that, because that's legendary for us in the East Coast of using samples, man. You know what I'm saying? And in the
Well, that's all we could
'90s,
do. I mean, we didn't. Most of us didn't have drum kits, affordable studio time, or nothing. So we had to find any kind of way. I think that's the beauty of hip hop, right? It's just taking everything and turning it into something else, coming from nothing. Taking lemonades and making, lemons and making lemonade. So, I wanted to ask: is there any particular projects that you might have worked on in your time in your career at this point that you could be like, well, I'm really proud of that body of work, that you might want to share with the people?
I would
I'm sure
say
you've
my
worked with, because I'm sure you've worked with tons of artists. I mean, obviously, look, my show is not really like I got some A list or B list, whatever list of people. It's not about that for me. This show is really about like highlighting the gems that are kind of covered up, because we always,
Yeah.
I'm not saying anybody can come on the show. Not anybody's going to come on the show, but people like you, there's a story there, and there's history, and there's pictures, and there's a journey there, and you've influenced people who are now like myself doing what I'm doing, and you're an unsung hero. And I think it's important to highlight, you know what I'm saying, the things that you've done, because who knows what you're actually still sitting on, what you might come up with, and also like you're a legend in your own right. We look at legends and we think you have to sell plaques, and in the background you got to have platinum plaques. But I
Yeah.
think legendary is how you affect people in your everyday life and what careers come from you. So let's just say you never sell a plaque, you never get a plaque on the wall, but the
Mhm.
kids you inspired now gets a plaque on the wall. That's you getting a plaque on the wall. This podcast is you starting a podcast because you ignited somebody to somewhere somehow. So it's still steady styles, on the beat in a sense. So what would be a project you're proud of, and what do you think about being legendary but not necessarily having the accolades?
Well, just to quickly elaborate on the when you say teaching the youth, that was one thing. Before I get to the project section, when I see you, unfortunately, you was one of those guys. You was one of those guys, man, that kind of like made me want to accomplish that and kind of motivated me more to work with others. Because when I used to see the youth in the street a lot, and I knew what knuckleheads was out in the street running around, but yet I knew what talent they had, but nobody grabbed them physically and said, you know what? Come upstairs, let me show you something. You come upstairs, let me show you something. And another day, you come upstairs, let me show you something. You know, and it was crazy how a lot of them, took to it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of bugged out, and you'd be surprised how many some ran with it, some didn't. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Lord. Fortunately, you was one of those guys too, man, that I met, and and Tony, and my wife's brother-in-law, who's kind of a big-time DJ out here in Florida, man. And and I didn't know I did anything. It was just him seeing me when he came and visited and saw it, and just being around the atmosphere in the room and everything. And he had a heart his shirt, and he said, "Yo, man, I got into DJing because you, man, this and that." And I'm like, "Me? What?" And you know what I'm saying? So it was like that caught me off guard, man. You know what I'm saying? And and a couple of other young brothers, man. And back in '95, man, that I was teaching, that we were making a mixtape, and he was another one that made a big shout out to me on Instagram or Facebook when I visited New York. He said this nice, crazy speech about me, and I didn't, and please quote me. I don't glorify people saying things about me. I'm greatly appreciated. I'm super grateful on it, man. You know what I'm saying? But I do this out of the love, out of the passion, no money, no nothing, man. I just do it because I get a thrill off of people winning. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep emphasizing that. I enjoy seeing people win. I could be going through my own struggles, and I still thrive off of people winning. Period. I don't know if that sounds corny, retarded to some people out there, but it's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, I'm trying to help myself and get myself back on board, because I still go through personal things in life and flaws. But yet, once that music is in your blood, it's hard to lose it, man. It's hard to lose it. So as far as projects, man, music projects, I think I could really cherish a lot. There was a brother named Dolo, back in 2005, that this kid was a dope artist, man, and an album that he kept pushing out there, and the kid was ridiculous out there from the BX. My partner Rado, I produced a bunch of tracks for him and with him, back in the '90s, the mid '90s up to the mid 2000s. That was yeah, we did videos and everything. And this kid named Arrogant, he was a battle cat for the Rough Riders. He was a new cat that came in. His name was Arrogant, and he was another cat that was, man, the kid was bananas, man. And I think I enjoyed, working with him a lot as well, man. So It was a lot of dope accomplishments, man. You know what I'm saying? At the time, still the social media wasn't what it was, so it wasn't like really posting stuff up for Spotify or things like that. Or I don't even think Reverb Nation
How,
had just came out.
how do you feel about today's music industry market? How do you actually feel being that you from that era where it was analog and grassroots and things done on paper and going to a label to now streaming and you being able to create your own content and technology making things so much easier to do. Like look at the stuff we're doing now. You would have needed NBC or CBS to get this popping. Now we can just do our own thing. So how do you feel about today's current climate in music?
You know what? I'm loving it. I love it so much because it gives a fair opportunity to people who want to be their own boss, who want to be their own creator, bring their own vision to life. And I think with social media and streaming and podcasts and these live video shows, um, help them get recognized. And I think with the big industries looking for fresh talent and new flavor, this is what they were doing, shopping to see who's got the thing that's popping, podcasts, artists. Let me listen, instead of going to these appointments, making appointments to certain records, like I used to do back in the days with I forgot what record company this was. I don't know if it was Universal or what, with Eric Beasley. You know what I'm saying? So I think I love what's going on today. I love it so much, man. And I think there's so many cats now. I mean, for example, look at these cats now that are in YouTube, whether they're gamers, cats from LA. All guys do is just mess around, play in the living room, just videotaping each other and becoming famous. And all of a sudden now, the more views and more views and more views and more views. And like my kids are one of them. My kids wants to move to LA because of these cats. He says,
Yeah,
"Yo,
my daughter was talking about I want to go to I want to play, I want to go to LA and be at the Lakers game. I said, "Excuse me, this is a Knicks house first and foremost. So you might leave a lot earlier to LA before, okay? So you want to go to LA, you might go. Secondly, yeah, they're trying to create videos now and do all that cuz these kids can get paid, man. These kids can get a check. You get enough views and you do your thing. There's money to be made in it. It cracks open a new world. It's good to hear that someone from your era is kind of like, I think now people are just getting it. I think people are just realizing like it ain't gonna stop. This train is going full. It's the A train express, it's a Brooklyn Brown A train. It's just going to where it's gotta go. But I think it's good because I think things like this will also reignite people's careers like yours, because now
yeah,
you can get more exposure. And that's why I've started this podcast because people like you should be put at the forefront. You are a pioneer to people. Like you've said, there's been plenty of people who have testimonies for you, but you come from an era where it wasn't like that. And we need brothers like you still around in the industry. It's like getting a new basketball team, but they're all rookies. That's a whack team. You need a couple of Taj Gibsons and a couple Derrick Roses on the team to
yeah.
school the young and give that blanket of comfortability. Like, bro, I've been here. We've been to the playoffs. We've went through the wars together. So I got y'all. Y'all just use your young energy to take it further than I have. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do for all my mentors, Johnny Nunez, DWI, and yourself, is to say, look, y'all opened your doors to me. I've taken in that information, and with the times now and how technology is, whatever y'all may not be able to grasp right away, I got it. Let's go that way. So that's good
I
to
think
hear.
the I think the beautiful thing is too that forced a lot of people to learn how to invest in themselves. I think I was a big factor to that. I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to waste no time on asking my mom for help. It forced me to go and get a job, and I was just impatient. And that flaw became out to be a positive thing in my life when it came to all this. And then when my mom saw that, she kind of said, "Yo, you know what? Because you got that turntable, I'm gonna help you get the other one." And still I didn't pay no mind to that, but when she did, she supported me. And seeing the youth now and all this independent this independent way of upbringing yourself in the music industry or film industry, in the podcast industry, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. I think, with the way streaming is, I love the way things are set up now where, you can get paid just for people listening to your stuff a few cents, but it all adds up. You can get paid people to, lease your beats. You can get paid. I mean, it's just ways down now. You can get paid and just live an average life still. And whether you could do a part-time job as you're making money. That's why I listen to a lot of guys, inspirational producers out there, such as Kato, the producer, and DJ Payne. These guys leave some positive quotes, industry quotes and questions and powerful messages for producers, for artists, for everything. That's, I think, a lot of people should read and repost a lot. And that's a big factor, man. So I love the way that things are, and I hope it continues to get better. It makes a lot of dreams come true for the youth, takes them away from the negative things out there in the street and life, and makes them become more independent, more business-like, hopefully in a positive way. And hopefully that continues as it goes, man, because it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. So it gives a fair shake to everybody out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does. Technology now is alleviating, because back in the day, man, if you couldn't get into a big recording studio or work with a director and shadow him, the equipment was quite big. It was hard. Now with your iPhone, I mean, listen, I've got 3 lenses on here with some good lighting and all these integrated apps. You could shoot a mini film, or at least put all your ideas on out there, and then sell it off to a production company and get a check if you got your things in line. The amount of information we have here, guys, want to shoot music videos and start their own labels instead of out there, doing the stuff that they're doing. And, I hope one day to be able to do a program for the youth where, we put more guns down, especially in the States, put the guns down and pick the cameras up and start shooting that. Let's start shooting life into people. Let's stop taking our lives, and let's take that cannon. You know what I'm saying? But let's lock and load in a better way. If you're a shooter, respect the shooter. Shoot some life into your mans. Keep them alive. Let's create and do more. Being that I'm in the UK, you know what I'm saying, with the Mandem out here in the UK, being out here for 5 years, I've seen the scene here. The UK has kind of been a bit behind the States in terms of the music impression on the world, but they're coming around now. And is there any UK people that you got your eye on, listen to, producers? The whole drill scene is crazy right now. So, is there any UK influences?
I don't know them offhand, their names. I know there's a female one that's really caught my eye. Oh my God, what's the girl name?
Be careful, Gigi probably seeing this. No, I'm playing. Shout out to Gigi. I'm just playing.
Yeah. Oh my wife has been a major blessing with me in this music. She's been pushing me, and even with my struggles right now with my health and everything, that been kind of felt like a setback with the music and just household ways. She's been a major blessing, man. So I'll give a big shout out to my wife, Gigi Stylez, man. She's my online manager because she's goes on there, checks all the status and everything, and it's amazing because she wanted to do it. She's like a computer geek. I'm not a computer savvy person like she is. She's a computer geek. So without her, man, it'll be I'll be somewhat of a caveman when it comes to certain things. So I thank her so much, man. I love her to death.
You might be Stylez, no steady. She's probably the steady. You're the Stylez, and you kind of come together, right? Yeah. She keeps you steady. You got the style. She keeps you steady. Yeah, shout out to all the women that hold their men down. Shout out to my wife Tatiana too, because I know I'm a pain in the ass. That's a fact. But
yes, man. Well, us Latinos, man. Sometimes we get we get a certain way, man.
It's that Latino heat, that Eddie Guerrero vibe. We mean well, but sometimes we Would you be interested in doing more collaborations with UK artists and producers and things of that nature?
Oh my God, of course, man. Let me tell you, not because you in the UK, D. I've always been a fan for UK because from the movies I watched from way back when I was a kid to now, I have on my wall, I got an England, London on my wall plaque.
You got the Union
Uh,
Jack. You got the Union Jack flag. Yeah.
yeah, it's the flag one that says England and it says London on the bottom, And then I got my own shirt that has the London flag on it. I had it for ages, man. You know what I'm saying? Because London to me was just a New York, a Europe version of New York, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It's like, like my wife's dream is to go to Paris and go check out Paris. Like for me, is to go to London, to be on the London Bridge and you know what I'm saying? So, and I've seen what
Tower
London
Bridge.
has.
We get mixed up with that. That's Tower Bridge. Everyone thinks
Tower
it's
Bridge?
London
Okay,
Bridge.
Tower
All
Bridge.
right, so just so New Yorkers know, the London Bridge is down the river, and it's just a normal bridge. It's a
Oh, okay.
normal bridge. The
All
Tower
right.
Bridge is the one that everyone thinks is London Bridge, but that's the Tower Bridge. That's why it's got the two big towers and stuff like that. So just
Right.
just in case, so when you come here, you get, obviously you'll come check me, and you'll be good, but just in case you got some friends who go there asking for London Bridge, we don't want them to get, caught up with the wrong guys did not know what bridge is what. So
But we don't know anybody out there. You and Tatiana are the only ones that we would know out there, other than the people that I've stayed connected with in London, as far as like through Facebook and stuff like that, because I purposely always reached out to a lot of producers out there and artists out there at the time. Um, as far as that producer that was that Pop Smoke was using, that dude right there, woo, I salute him, man. That drill beat and everything, man. And this kid made a name for himself. And just to think that Pop Smoke went and was just blowing up with his beats and everything. And I was just gonna hope that he was gonna get the fair shake and get the pay that he deserved and everything. May he rest in peace. Pop Smoke. But yeah, I know England has got tons. United Kingdom has got tons of talent, and in all areas.
Well, I got an artist out here working with. His name is Mr. Benjamin. So shout out to him. He's a really diverse artist, and one of my goals now is to kind of fuse his music with some of the guys that I know back home. So I'll definitely, be looking to do some of my own DJ Khaled puffy vibes, where I kind of bridge the gap. That's one of the goals here as well, is to get UK artists and US artists to make more of that music, because when those sounds come together, oh man, it's just rocking, and it benefits both, because the girls and the guys, they love the US, the US swag, and when they come over there, they get all the attention, and they love the London swag. So I think as time goes on with the internet and how things are going, I think we could kind of bridge that gap more, because it's been a huge gap for a long time, and for rightful reasons. But I think now we could really get some interesting music going into the future. One of the other questions I wanted to ask you, Steve, is do you have anything going on now? Any projects, anything you're working on that you might want the people to check out, that you might be working on, or anything like that? Any projects?
Um, at the moment, not right now. I am getting some projects put together right as we speak. This right now, this is just a comeback for me. During my time of my health issues, kind of put me in such a delay, a setback, and my family, my wife was refusing that I try to focus on the music so I get everything straight with my health and everything. And because there are people that have been reaching out to me about projects and stuff like that. And, and I know some people will kind of like probably feel, probably uptight too, because, I wasn't around, when they needed me and stuff like that. But hopefully they understand what's really going on. But I am getting projects put together. I have to get more projects. I'm gonna have another discussion with Rado, my partner, because he's got things popping like crazy. He's got videos coming out left and right. He's got the Banging Tables. Big shout out to bangingtables.com. It's all about the producers, DJs, engineers, you name it. So I always will suggest people to go check out that website, man. And Chef Rado is back in the scene, man, with his albums and everything, and coming out with hot beats as well. So I'm going to definitely be working on some projects later on with him. And I think he also talked about doing a podcast too later on. So that's going to be something to be interesting. So I hope you get an opportunity to, really, get a chance to talk with him as well, because he'll have a lot to talk about. I'll tell you that much, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, he has a lot to show for it too as well, man. But I'm right behind him, and these guys are giving me support to, make me the biggest comeback, with the beats and everything, man. I just gotta put some new tracks together and just come back harder than ever, man. You know, what they say first, man, you gotta take care of your health first, man, because then, you
Yeah,
used
health
to
is
see your
wealth.
family. You used to
Yeah,
see your
no doubt.
family, man.
Well, I would love to see, as a fan of both of you guys, I would love to see another hard hits production album, beat album, or even take it a step further. And this is just me throwing a little nugget out there, and I can, off cam, we could talk about that down the line. Is putting together a collaborative album, sort of like how Khaled does, where he gets all these producers and people together and do a hard hits production again. Man, I would love to see you guys come together, even if it's just for one more go around, a collaborative project with you two guys on the front and some new artists rapping over beats and something like that. A hard hits, collaborative album or project would be really ill. So maybe we can talk about that down the line.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, man.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful thing, man, to really bring back that era, with the hard hits that me and Raider was doing together, man. So, and that was the era that a lot of the industry knew us as. So, I think that's a great idea, man, and that's something I definitely, want to bring up and, bring that up to Raider too, man, because he hears it from the brother like you. He'll get like,
Yeah. He'll get
all right,
inspired, right?
well,
Well, we'll talk. We're gonna look. We're gonna have him on the show, so he's gonna go through his journey, and we're gonna, touch on some of the same questions and get, put him out there to the world and to the UK and to everybody. So I want to push for that, man. I think it would be cool to see you guys not only just do like a beat collaborative album, but get some artists on there and do the same thing that Khaled's doing, with your respected artists from Florida, from Tampa, from the UK, and put it out. You know what I'm saying? Why not? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, definitely, man. I'm all for it, man. And I'm grateful for that, man, because that's what Raider was doing with the Banging Tables, his Army Through One projects, man. His Army Through One, and he was grabbing artists and putting them on this project with his beats,
yeah,
So I
yeah, yeah.
think that's the type of thing. So I wanted me and him to put one together, you know. So I think that's a discussion that me and him will definitely have. And and this kind of helps me out more, even, with this interview and everything, gets me back on board, on a, because that's pretty much what I'm trying to get back is my consistency since the setback. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it, man. And just these type of plans, two heads, three heads are better than one. So, this idea you bringing up is it's a great idea, definitely.
Thank you so much for that, man. Well, listen, Steve, we've been rocking out for a good minute now, but, I've got to get going. But I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, man, for coming out and taking this time out to do this very first exclusive thing. This is new for me. I kind of was shy to get behind the mic and do this for a while, but I enjoy talking to people and having good conversations, and I look to push this forward. And I'm just very happy that I could say that, someone who's helped my career out, I'm able to now kind of do the same and put a platform out for them and come full surface with London, with podcasting, all of this stuff. So I really thank you for coming on the show today, man. Thank you.
Man, I'm speechless here, man. I can't thank you enough, man, for bringing me on, period, man, and just showing the enthusiasm to want to learn back then, and helping me motivate myself more to want to show people and teach and stuff like that, man. So I thank you, for first being a part of the family. That's number one, being a part of the family, and then becoming the music thing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of love to you, Tatiana, and your kids and everything, man. I thank you so much, man. And I'm sure me and Rado are very grateful to have, you know, met you at the time as well, man. So thank you, brother.
Well,
Thank
listen,
you so much.
we're not done yet. You're gonna come out to London. Giselle's gonna go to Paris. You're gonna take some epic photos with me, and there'll be more stuff to talk about, more creative projects going on this end. So, yeah, don't even worry about it. Where can they find you? How can they hear your music and everything? Let the viewers know where they can find Steady Styles and the music.
Okay, so right now you can go to SoundCloud, find me at Steady Styles. Make sure you spell Styles with a Z at the end. Steady Styles on SoundCloud. Um, Instagram, you can find me on steady_styles_producer. Same thing with Facebook, set up that way, Steady Styles Producer. Twitter is just Steady Styles. SoundCloud, just Steady Styles, man. My YouTube is under construction, man, but you can find Steady Styles on my YouTube. I do have videos up and everything. You know, I had to redo a page again, man, and everything. But I also, at the same time, I think I have DistroKid. I'm on DistroKid and Spotify, so I think they have a lot of my music done on there on the listing as well. If you want to check out my music, there will be a lot more music coming and everything, man. So be prepared. I'm coming with all kinds of music, from original music to sample music, chap music, you name it, man. So can't wait to get the projects going and just continue to make music, man. But these are pretty much the social medias that I'm, where you can find me on.
All right, man. Well, you already know. You've heard it from the man himself. So get at him for, some dope beats and dope production. And this has been the official first episode to the Creative Vibe podcast with your host, Demetrius Behind the Lens, Steady Styles. Thank you for coming on. Peace out.
Peace out, baby.